I got that reading from Dream Femme Ascension for Lucy. This is the first card, Acknowledge Responsibility. Let me move this over. Page 26. Everything is self-effort through self-responsibility. Because Lucy, no one can control what you say, what you do, what you decide, how you feel. And I hope that you realize all of that are coming from your own efforts. No one can change that for you. That's what this card is trying to say, that you have to acknowledge that and you have to take that responsibility and stop keep seeking outside to blame of what's happening to you. The next card, Sacred Sexuality, Accessing the Unified Field. This is Sacred Sexuality. Let me see the page here. $97. You need to work on expanding your receptivity, because your judgment tends to get in the way for you to narrow your perceptions. So it's hard for you to be receptive. Perhaps this judgment wanting to protect yourself. So you have to learn to let that go in order to increase your receptivities. So that way you can have different perceptions and perspective in your life. Define order. Page 27. Rushing the process will cause you to make hasty decisions. So you have to trust things to come to you naturally. You cannot anticipate. Perhaps you're trying to achieve certain outcome, and that's already set up to failure because you are expecting certain outcome and stop doing your best to see what that is. So be aware that rushing and anticipations only go against the universal flow. I hope you're not manifesting anything, Lucy. I'm feeling awkwardness here. There's awkward energy here. Every time I'm doing this reading for you, it's like, I couldn't express what I need to express. So let me go to this awareness card. 28. Confusions. Is blocking you. Blocking your ability to see things with clarity. Blocking your ability to see what life direction that you need to take. And that is the culprit of that. Perhaps you're using your mind too much. Perhaps you're using your body as a way of approach life. That's kind of limits you already to connect with your spirit self, to understand what's going on with your heart matter. So you need to let the body and the mind go, to dive within into your own self, so that way you can increase your inner awareness. You don't need to have step by step. You don't need to have logic to have inner awareness when it comes to sensing, when it comes to sensing with the intuition, when it comes to sensing using the sixth sense to do it. So I hope that makes sense here in order to bring about clarity in your life. It isn't about manifestation, Lucy. If you're manifesting, please stop. It's not good for you. Getting connection to the higher self, it's not about manifestation. You have to let go that kind of limitations, because it's really blocking you from connecting to your spirit self. Master Alchemist. Page 92. You can create your own reality as long as this is coming from your higher purpose. It is coming from your higher self. You cannot just create your reality through darkness. If you choose that, then that is only create darkness for you in this life path. Be aware of that. Light attract light. Your negativity attract negativities. This is about the energy that you're practicing. Are you aware of your energy? And that's why I said earlier not to manifest. If you're manifesting through desire, it's only create more problems for your own self. It is about recreating your inner self, so that way you understand this energy is no longer coming from the dark side of it, but it's coming from the light side of it. It's really depend how much you're willing to work on yourself, Lucy. Are you taking advantage of that in your everyday life to realize it? What kind of dark energy you're practicing through that so-called emotional triggers? You have to identify if there any specific emotion that is still creating negative energy for you. If so, then it's time to work on that, to release it so you can do proper healing. Healing, inner healing, is a choice. It does not require logic. If you're in fear, if you're in a worry, and you sense that feeling, and you have to ask yourself why, right? Why do you feel the way you feel? Are you still allowing the external self to influence you in that regard? Are you still nailed to this little perception that you're having to cause this burden on yourself, so-called limitations? A lot of those things that happening to you are self-inflicted. So therefore you can, or you need to master this way of changing about the way you see, the way you perceive, the way you think, the way you feel, and so forth, in order to bring about this positive self transformations. Is there any more to say about this for Lucy here? Guided to end here. May you find life from your spiritual guardian. Oh, I'm sorry. There's one more card I left out here. This is the last one, not the other one. Define creativity. 99. This card is about surrendering to your spiritual path. Perhaps you're still going against it. You are trying too hard. Have the desire still get in the way. Your ego is still gets in the way. Why are you resisting it in healing? Because of judgment you're still using from past experiences to cause you to think certain way, to feel certain way when they are not the truth of the matters. Fear, it's one of them. What are you afraid of? Afraid of the outcome? Afraid of going deeper to understand what's going on with you? You're stuck in the survival mode. You want something better for the future, but what is better, Lucy? This is only your definition. That's not the truth of the matter when it comes to soul healing. If you really want to heal yourself, if you really want to release your own darkness, why are you still trying to label how you should live this lifetime? You have to let go those things, your idea of your living. If you don't understand the fundamental basic, are you asking too much out of this lifetime? Even though you don't think so, but you need to reassess that. Your approach of life. You're still under a lot of influences by the outside of you, by the human creations. Look, how are you using human creation to live your life? A lot of them around you. People that you care about, people that you prefer are already creating that for you, that kind of limitation for you. I hope you realize if you allow those external things, doesn't matter what that is, to influence you, you're going to get stuck in this limitation, so-called self-inflict. All of this is self-inflict, Lucy, because you choose those influences to impact your inside. How well are you aware of that? Are you still doing codependency? Are you still conditioning your life because of the way the society have formed it to pressure you to do that? If you don't want to use the term influence, you could be pressured by the environment, people, in at work as well. Do you feel that? Do you feel the stress? Do you feel the pressure? Do you feel the influence? You might not able to change what's coming at you, whatever you're encountering each day. But however, you certainly can change your energetic world the way you feel. That's what this master alchemy about the other card. Take your own responsibility. That's what this is about. You can only change yourself, but not anything else outside of you. Be aware of that. So you have to have a different perspective, a different way of approaching your life. Whatever happen in the future, you really don't have control over that. You know, if things are falling from the sky and happen to land on right on top of you, you cannot control that, Lucy. That's what I'm trying to say about the future. So you just have to accept that. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm just giving you an extreme example of that. If that's happened, that happens. But however, you can change the way how you feel, how you see, okay? And what kind of like direction to take for your own self. You cannot continue living in a fear-based living if that's what you're doing to anticipate for your safety, for your comfort in that regard. Like I said, if something fall on top of the sky, you have no control over that. And just accept the fact that you already cherish every moment of your life, and you're living in this lifetime without regret. And what's more do you really ask for, Lucy? I'm glad to end here. May you find life from the spiritual guardian. Since I pick a deck from the Fountain Tarot, first card that I have is the Magician card. But let me move this instruction out of the way. Looking through a different view here. I'm sensing here this guy is looking through the wand and the sword between the eyes. So it's the mind and the actions. But I feel like this infinity side is speaking about your spirit self on top of that. But then the below is the emotions. But I feel like emotion is being suppressed. Your spirit self is just hanging on top of that. Like there's a barrier. Like you don't want it to integrate through your mind and actions. That's what I'm sensing here. And then this guy is holding on to the coin, like wanting the abundance, but I feel like the emotions really getting in the way through the abundance in your life. Because you're too focused on using your mind and to make decisions so that then take the actions. So I hope you see the point of here. And it's not good enough because you don't understand why you think this way, why you decided to go about doing that. So the next card is the Queen of Swords. There's barrier. The Queen of Swords should be nurturing through the mind, but at the same time is also the barrier. Perhaps you think information makes you smart. Information can help you navigate through this life to help you have a more comfortable life, to help you solve problems. I feel like that is the approach of life that you're having, but forget that there's something more about you. But I feel like you do know it, but then you don't think that you need to work on those other things too, beside the faults. So, and this is a very strong mind Perhaps you're too determined. Perhaps you think the mind is the strength, but you forget that there's another piece of you that needs to work on as well, your heart and soul. Can you continue to take deep breath, Dawnmarie, and just focus on breathing but nothing else? Try not to go against this reading. I feel like you're thinking too much. And I'm feeling this heaviness is suppressing me. Your determination is trying to suppress me from speaking the truth of this matter. Even I have to release this heavy energy. It's like it's this blockage is so heavy for you. Perhaps the mind is too strong. Perhaps your will is too strong with your mind. Knight of Sword. It's okay to exercise free will when you totally understand yourself, but otherwise, if you only use your mind as your free will, you're seeing so little in this lifetime, Dawnmarie. But this Knight of Sword is trying to walk this path with the mind willed so strongly, trying to walk above all this colorful. Each color represents like an aura field of you, but at the same time, it's sucking you. Do you see this sky is so invisible because it's losing, it's losing the vital energy that is so need because the mind is trying to will everything and it's not gonna work because the rest of it where he's walking on they are just in suppressions or it's put it aside in another compartment. Just put a lid on it and hopefully they don't leak or don't explode one day. But it's already has. I feel exhaustion in this heavy energy, barrier, blockage, this hesitations, the mind hesitation and what else? That's it. Hesitations causing by worry, confusions, fear. Is there more? You want me to move on to this? You have to let go your mind. Perhaps you're studying too much. Perhaps you want to know the truth, but that direction is not correct. Dawnmarie, you cannot sit answer through studying from the outside. You cannot sit answer through information from other people, from the source that you got, not directly from other people, but created by other people. I hope you understand it's the same thing, directly and indirectly. And this Four of Coins, whew, I'm seeing it out in the cold. It's like, I don't know even what to call this. It is so outdated. It is so wears out. And the coin is still sitting in there like your foundation, your security blanket, your comfort zones, stuck in this outdated, I don't know what to call this, okay, it reminds me of someone with a sheet of something to build a camp, but that's what it is, but it's so exposed, so it's no longer useful. So why continue this approach of life? So it's up to you to let that go. You need to learn to let go. Dawnmarie, let go the way you handle information. It's too much clutter. That's what I'm getting, the word clutter. You're cluttering your mind to the point of what's the use of that when you're still not getting the truth of the matter, especially about yourself, Dawnmarie. Perhaps you're too busy focusing on other people's. What is that rumor? Perhaps gossip, rumor, conversation, chatty, socializing. Sure, it's normal for humans to be socializing. But if that's the way how you enjoy life, you're seeing very little about yourself, Dawnmarie. Too busy energy blocking you, blocking the way your inner feeling. Why do you need to be so active on the outside? Are you aware your inside is so active as well? Those emotions keep turbulenting. Is that the right word? Fluctuating, not turbulenting. That's no such word. It's keep fluctuating inside of you, causing you to be so chatty, want to socialize, wants to get information. I mean, if that's the way how you're going about life, but do you understand the truth of the matter? Is there any more to elaborate here on this card? Comfort zones. The way you're living your life, you're only seeing from the physical perspective. You're only seeing from this comfort zone. You're seeing from this security perspective for survivals, but you're not trying to say, oh, I want to live past my 100. I'm not saying that you're trying to do that, but you're still anticipating, right, for retirement. It feels like a normal thing to do. Everybody has to think about their retirements. But what's more out of that, Dawnmarie? Have you looked at your heart matter? Have you looked at your soul matter? And that's what the spiritual guardian is trying to say here. It's up to you to change how you live your life. You have to do quite a bit of self-reflection of how you came to this as of today. Coins, it's more like a physical form of life. Money, housing, whatever you need to do to comfort your body, to make a healthier body, does not mean your mind, heart, and soul are healthy. Be aware of that, how you approach your life with informations, with things, with people as well. This is the last card, Hermit. The Hermits. Going alone. Shutting yourself out. I'm seeing this wall here going nowhere. Yeah, this guy has a flashlight shining through all this. Perhaps wilted tree. I don't see any leaf going on. I don't see anything in there. Nothing is blooming. It's out in the cold. There are nothings to harvest for you. Closing in. You're closing your heart. You're closing your soul. You cannot live your life through the mind. You cannot live your life through clutter, with information, through resources. They don't help you. You cannot bring them to your grave one day. And I feel like you do realize it, but you're not doing anything for your emotional wellness. What are you afraid of? Why are you so worried? What it is that you're carrying about those past relationships to cause you to be this way? There's so much for you to reflect on so you can release those burdens. You know, you gotta ask yourself, how are you loving yourself? How are you loving yourself? Are you still conditioning your life? Are you still codependent on something to love yourself? What it is, Dawnmarie, you need to crack open your heart again to see it for what it is. There's so much to reflect on in your past to see how they cost you all those negativities. Is there only more you do for her? May you find light from your spiritual guardian. This is the end of your reading. The deck reading from the Sacred Spirit Oracles. The first card that I'm picking up is, let me move the instruction out of the way. This is the Ascended Master. Create open communication. Number 2. See the guidebook and see how it interprets for each card. You want me to talk about energy or you talk about the higher self? Higher self connections? I need more context beside open communications. Need stability. She's been trying to connect, but it's not stable. What is the decision? She decided to use desire to do it. Wishing for something. Not necessarily praying, but wishing for something. Through whatever. There's a many way that you could be wishing for something, Olivia, but I'm not here to channel what that is, but it tell me praying. I'm not sure that's true or not. But that's what I'm seeing. And that's coming from your desires. So I hope you're understanding that. And it's not a good way of connecting to your higher self, to wherever that the spiritual world. Let's put it this way. I call it the universe. Some people don't call it that way. They just call it the spiritual world. I'm going to use the term universe, okay? So because your desire has some underlying feeling driving your desire. So that's therefore it's not good for you. You're not understanding your energy. And this card is talking about energy. Energy has frequency. And you're thinking yourself, let's not explain this way. The more I explain, the more she's confused because she doesn't understand energy. You do understand everything has energy. You have energy. Even the unliving thing has energy. A piece of furniture has energy. All the living plants have energy. You have energy. You cannot avoid energy. Energy is everywhere. Energy coming from your emotion drive motivate your desire. So your desire, why do you pray? You have desire. So therefore you're not understanding your emotion either. Why do you want to pray? Why do you want to wish for something to happen? Why are you asking for miracle? And it's important that you need to connect back to the energy. What is that energy you're emitting to the universe? You attract the same things. And that's why your guardian say it's not good, it's not stable. It's using instability. I don't even like this terminology in this guidebook here, because instability meaning you're using negative emotions. That's why it's unstable. Why it's unstable? Because your soul isn't born to hold that type of negative energy. A lot of false belief that, oh, humans supposed to have negative emotion, but that's not the truth of a matter from the spiritual perspective. Humans are just stuck in the, what do you call, the human ancestor, because the ancestor chose the dark path. They choose to practice negative emotions. They choose to practice negative emotion. Therefore, I'm eating my word here because I don't like it when I'm just too many terminology that can be used to explain it to you, okay? But I just don't like it when there's some interception here. So when you have, because the human ancestor chose negative emotion to process, they pass on to generation. So therefore they normalize the human. Oh, it is normal to have negative emotion. That's what they tell you. Olivia, the spiritual side of is telling you, no, that is a false belief, okay? And this is the, let me move on to the next card. As astral travels. Caution needed. I understand what is astral travel, what it is for her. That's the problems. Out of body experience. In her dream, did she have out of body experience in her dream? Okay, I'm not understanding this. I need more context again. May not pull the core. Is it tied to the first card? It is tied to the first card. Okay, now that makes sense. I cannot read this individually. It's tied to the first card. Then that makes sense. Because when you're praying, you're not understanding that your spirit self has the ability to connect to the spiritual worlds. Perhaps you have some special gift from your higher self. You're not aware of it, but I'm not here to channel it through this card. But this card is not talking about that. But you're connecting to it. You're trying to manifest. When you're manifesting, you're using your negative energy to manifest for whatever you're praying for. You're at the same time you're attracting wherever that energy that you use. Light attract light. You use negative energy to do it, so therefore you're attracting negative energy out there in the spiritual world. The lower your energy is, the lower the dimensional energy that you're gonna attract. Be aware of that. Low energy meaning lower negative emotion, right? Negative emotion has different intensity. The worst kinds will have lower, much lower energy. So it depends what that is that you're using, okay? I'm not here to channel all of that for you, but I'm just giving you some, what do you call that? A scale, a general scale for you to help you understand. So therefore, you're attracting negative energy in the spiritual world in this regard. It's not about astral travel. Astral travel is totally different levels, okay? But it's just the limitation of this card here. And that's what make the reader like me challenging. I have to channel a lot of information to see what that is for you. So it is not something that you wanted to attract in your life. And that's why people stuck in spiritual possessions in that regard, manipulated by negative entity out there, not being aware due to the possessions. to control your negative feelings. That could intensify. The more you do that, the more you're going to attract the same thing. You allow that negativity to control you, to express more intense negative emotion out of you. If that's not, if that haven't happened yet, maybe you haven't dived too deep into that. But if you have, and you should feel those negative emotions, such as fear, I'm picking up fears, I'm picking up hurry, anything else. So caution is needed here, okay? This entire word here, cautions. New direction between worlds. You are energetically blocked because of this self-inflicted energy through manifestation, through whatever you're wishing for. So you have a decision to make to stop this type of practice, or you're going to continue to do what you're doing until you cannot that you cannot hold this energy anymore, because there is consequence. It does cause you to get sick. It's like someone doing black magic. I'm not saying someone did it to you. You're doing it to yourself. I'm just giving you a way outside example, not related to you. When someone do a bad magic to someone, they're using this type of energy through the universe to hit that person with this whatever that spell, and that person can feel it, heaviness, sickness, whatever, like energetic attack. So it's saying that person, if that person doesn't do anything to release that kind of negative energy, it keep accumulating more and more. Yeah, it could cause cardio arrest, like could cause the heart to stop and die. And I'm just saying, this is an extreme example, Olivia. I'm not saying it happening to you. I'm just trying to give you an impression of what happened out in the world, the invisible world, how energy work, why it work, why people use black magic, why they're capable of casting spell, because they're attracting an enormous amount of negative energy out there. Like I said, everything is energy. And it's not like you cannot see it. But if you feel deep enough, if you're able to discern enough the difference between negative and positive energy, then you should able to tell at least that much, right? If you're not feeling well, if you're getting sick, like headache that I'm getting here, that could be part of it too. Illness doesn't mean your physical body is sick. Sometimes your soul is sick. Sometimes your heart is sick. And your mind could be sick too, to cause the energy to sink. So I hope you realize how energy works. The aspect of your life can directly affect the energy itself. Is there anything else on this card? You need to make that decision. You need to take a new direction. It's telling you, you need to stop manifesting, stop praying, stop wishing for things through the spiritual world. It's never gonna work out, Olivia. There is no shortcut. There's no wishful thinking. The spiritual world is not a wishing world. A lot of people misinterpret the spiritual world of what it is. Where does it come from? The origin of it. People don't care about that. All they want is, oh, I just want my gratification to come true. And that's come from selfishness, come from personal gain. That's already come from your negative emotions. Be mindful of that. Don't be like everyone else in this world and try to practice those, shortcut. And I call it shortcut, because they want an easy way out of life, or for whatever those specific thing they couldn't get on their own. I'm not saying you're trying to do that, but I think you're stuck in just the influence of what everybody else is doing in the society. So you just tag along and just do what everybody else. You just realize you're being influenced a lot by all those human belief, all those human creation in the society. You have to wake yourself up to that and stop doing those things that are not good for you. And I'm happen to be an ascended master. I've been through that myself, even people using spell that attacking me. I have to help myself to get rid of those negative energy to, to save my own life. I've just been through a lot through what I'm going through my spiritual journey. But let me continue this card, the awakened spirit. Hmm. People are living in a materialistic world and they want materialism, and they can classify that as abundance. And that is their narrow mindedness because they don't understand. Abundance should come from the inside first, it shouldn't come from the outside. And that's one of the message here. You have to awaken yourself to understand you're doing all this imbalancing to cause inharmony, causing turbulence inside of you. And there is no such thing a greener land for you to go get out in the world. It doesn't matter what kind of opportunity that you think you're having. They don't support your healthy lifestyle. You need to learn to improve your spirit self. If you're not taking your spirit self a priority, you're going to have a very serious problems now and the futures. So you are the only one can help your own self. Nobody can help you that, Olivia. Be aware of that. How are you awakening your spirit self? Do you have desire to change for better? The outside have no answer for you. You are the only one with the answers. What have you been doing to cause wherever you are today? You are the only one can undo it. If you do praying, you do manifestation, what do? You stop doing it. As simple as that, Olivia. You don't need someone to tell you that. It's already explained it to you in all this card. That's why you're the one who can fix your own problem. Nobody can tell you, oh, stop praying, stop manifesting with your desires. Nobody can tell you because you're the one who's doing it to your own self. Number 6, birth or creation, potential growth. Change is necessary to learn and go to grow your own self. You need to be more conscious about whatever aspect of your life. It's not just about your body, your outer image, the way you talk, the way you act, why you decide to do certain things. What is your heart is telling you? How is your spiritual well-being right now? Do you feel that? Your guardian said you have no clue at all what you're doing to your spiritual self, your spirit self. The spirit self is the same thing as soul. You have a soul inside of you, Olivia. Without it, you wouldn't be alive today. But your egoistic is so strong that you don't even want to get to know your soul. Where's your soul coming from? What kind of energy your soul is emitting? Your ego is driving all this desire on the outside. Are you aware of that? Do you know you have a lot of emotion that driving those desires? Can you identify each of the emotions that you're having that drive those desires? You need to ask yourself that. It's not anyone can tell you, Olivia. This birth of creation is trying to tell you, you're the one who's creating all of this, and you allow the external to influence you to cause your inside to create all these things. You can take back this control if you want to, but are you aware how you're being influenced by the external world? People that you care about, things that you prefer, that's already directly influence you, the way you feel, the way you think, the why you choose what you choose. Some of them are already become a routine for you because you're practicing this for so long. It's just so automatic. You're just doing it without the inner awareness of why you're doing those routine stuff. Basic old patterns, old behaviors, how you process life. It's already an old pattern for you. You have to dive deeper into your own self to understand. Crack yourself open. That's the only way. Are you going to open yourself up, or are you still going to use judgment to do it? If you keep judging, forming barrier, you're not going to peel yourself open. Look at this egg like an onions. Do you know onions have a lot of layers to peel? Are you going to peel that skin off? Are you going to take off your mask to see your inside? Are you going to take each layer at a time to see what have you become today because of all those influences that you allowed, because you prefer, because you have feeling to those things around you. Feelings are the culprits because they drive you to do certain things without understanding the truth of the matter. Third eye vision 36. Reclaim your mind, this card say, and I'm telling you, you need to reclaim your soul. Mind, it's already corrupted by emotion, by influence, by preference. People that you care for, it's already corrupted your soul. So is it really you, Olivia? I have to say no. You don't even understand your authentic version of you yet. With all these influences around you that drive you to do what you do every day. Yes, feelings are vulnerable, but are you allow yourself to be vulnerable in order to feel what those are? If you're not going to open your heart and be vulnerable, how can you identify your own feelings? Are connected to your desire, connected to your action, and connected to your mind. So I hope you see what I'm trying to tell you here. All of these things are interconnected. You cannot do away one without the others. It's just a matter of, are you going to awaken yourself to see the truth about you? And you have to go peel each layer of the onions yourself. Nobody can do that for you. So you need to start listening with silence and start reacting to, oh, I have a problem now. How do I fix it? Nobody can tell you how to fix it. You're the only one need to fix it yourself. It is all about self-efforts. Are you going to awaken yourself up to realize what you're doing every day to yourself? spiritual evolutions. Set your heart free. It's like you need to open your heart to forgive, to have the right compassion. Compassion is shouldn't come from preference. Compassion is shouldn't come from, oh, I like this person, I care about this person, so therefore I have compassion for this individual. Those that you hate, those that you dislike, so therefore you don't have compassion for those individuals, that's not compassion. That's called conditioning. That's not love. That's not really love, Olivia. Love shouldn't be isolating. Love shouldn't be discriminating. So be aware of that. And that's what causing you to have negative emotion, that you have hard time forgiving. Are you holding grudge? Are you getting mad sometime? And that's where the problem is, the dark side of you, that you need to realize those are negative emotion. What do they do to your soul? They give you negative energy. When you use it to wish for something, even though you don't feel at the moment, but you're not understanding your soul energy level at the moment, even though you're not mad at the time when you pray for something, but doesn't mean you don't practice anger when you're being triggered, right? You're still inside your soul. The question is, what it is that you're going to do to have this spiritual evolutions. It is about self-transformation. Only you can fix that. Only you can fix yourself. That's why you need to open your heart to set yourself free. If you're not willing to set yourself free, you're going to stuck with all those negativity yourself until you wait until either someone trigger you, another situation to trigger you. So those emotions going to come out. You cannot hide that forever. Doesn't matter what you do to suppress them. Doesn't matter what you say to yourself. Oh, I'm a good person. I'm not a bad person. I haven't done anything bad to another human being. And that's what majority of people are doing in this society. That's how they define human beings. But here it's not about being good or bad. It's not even about being evil. This is about, can you discern the difference between your darkness and the light? I'm just talking about you. I'm not talking about other people. So stop thinking about other people as an excuse for yourself not to do anything for yourself. That's how people are stuck in conformity. They don't tell you everything because they don't even know the truth about themselves. So it is up to you to set yourself free, okay? Spirit messages. Observe limitation, reflect and adapt to your surrounding. This is exactly what I've been talking about. Inner awareness. Things do reflect on your outer self for your day-to-day life. Wherever how you're interacting, it's come from your inside. Why do you react this way? Why do you say those things? Do you hear the language that you use every day toward people's? Why do you feel like you use different languages toward different peoples? That's what I'm seeing here. Based on personal preference, you don't speak the same way. It's all driven by your feelings. I hope you're aware of that, Olivia. And you need to watch that type of fluctuation of your languages. It's not stable. And remember, one of the cards said instability, right? I think it's the first card that I mentioned. It's causing instability in you because you don't use the same language for everybody. You kind of choose whichever side you prefer. That's the culprit of that. That is also your limitation, right? Not understanding what is love because you're using perhaps fear, protections, boundaries to cause you to speak differently to different individuals. Are you aware that's where that's coming from? Why you're drawing those boundaries? Fear, it's one of them. Worry, it's one of them. Self-worth is another one of them. You don't feel worthy of towards somebody, so therefore you use that different type of language to speak. So you have a lot to reflect on about that in order to open your heart to further understand what's going on, why you let those negativities to drive you. So be aware, because you're stuck in this fear-based living in the society, and you can turn that around to a love-based living within your own self to find this harmony, so that way you don't have to keep attracting all those negativities around you. Is there anything else about this particular last card that I need to say? Spirit messages. Is there anything else? Observe the sign. There are spiritual signs, Olivia, around you. Feather, numbers, intuitions, from your gut's feeling, or sixth sense, the same thing, same terminology. Memories, from the past and past life as well. For some reason, you know, even though you don't remember exactly about your past life situation, but the feelings are so familiar, come from your past life incidents that are reoccurring in this lifetime, because you're being triggered by certain situation in this lifetime. They don't have to be the same life situation. Remember that. Anything else? What is that? Immediate moments? What's that mean? Nothing. Okay, disregard that. I know why I'm being triggered about those immediate. There is no such thing immediate. Perhaps you're in a hurry, Olivia, like you want immediate solution. There's no such thing immediate solution when it comes to your own self. Remember, you have so many accumulation, not just current lifetime. I'm just talk to you about past life as well. Hundreds and hundreds of years of accumulation. How do you fix something in a short period of time? There is no shortcut. That's why I stop manifesting, stop praying for miracle. You are your own miracles. You need to work on gratitude as well. Take things for granted, perhaps. You're getting something too easy, so therefore you take it for granted. You might not even realize that feeling that you're having. Too easy. But you need to cherish what you are having now, so you don't regret. Even guilt come to me. That is not negative emotions. And that's why it's sinking your energy. It's not good for your soul. I hope you realize all this negativity are not good for your soul. Anything else? And this is the annual reading. May you find light from your spiritual guardian. Pick a deck from Sacred Destiny. First one is the Courage. Let me see if I want to read it off from the guide here. This courage, and I feel like it shouldn't be coming from fear. This courage, it isn't about you need to protect yourself. This courage should be coming from I want to make a difference. This courage should be coming from I want to change in a positive way. And that's what this courage should be. So whatever you do to pull out this courage, don't use this fear to do it. But instead let love guide you through those turbulence, through those turmoils that you have been experiencing so far in this life journey. And you are strong, Bridget, but this strong but the strength shouldn't even coming from the fear. And that's what it's trying to tell you. If you can choose the light side to have courage, then you will see beautiful change in the future. Change. And it's something that I mentioned about. Change, it is about carrying the burden. I'm seeing this fine horse in the air carrying something so heavy, right? This balloon, the air balloons. It's like, why carry the burden in the past when you can do some positive change? Positive change, it is about keep carrying the negativities, like the judgment from past experiences. So this change should be free, so that way you can will the love that you need to live this lifetime. So I hope that you can reverse whatever those negativity that you've been feeling in the past and turn all of that back into love, compassion, and especially the forgiveness. So that way you can really live out those burdens and eventually dissipate them. Voyage. You are like this big world carrying the baby world. Like you need to protect, like you need to nurture, like you need to care. I feel like there is some sort of a humanity, am I saying that right? Humanitarianism in you. Like there is some people side in you, Bridget. That's great. I mean, that's what makes you human because you care. Without that, you won't be a human being. But do you also understand that it's also a burden for you to care for other people? I'm not saying you actually physically need to care for somebody, but emotionally you are. You do care. So make you more people oriented than most people, right? Who's into them to only into themselves. So but it's trying to tell you need to have a distance from that because it's not serving your greatest good to suck into that heaviness like a burden. You can still love in an energetic sense, but can you find the right balance in that where it doesn't cause you this negative feelings like a burden to you? So I hope that makes sense in this card. Relaxation, but let me go to the guidebook here. How you should relax. That's what I'm getting. Are you relaxing through some sort of a mean to make yourself feel good? Is this a pattern, a ritual, a codependency feeling that you get yourself into this relaxing stage of mind, or a moment of comfort? Are you feeling that you're engaging in this feel good feelings of whatever you're doing physically? Even sitting on a couch, watching a nice TV drama, whatever movie, or eating something good. Do any of those things trigger this feel good feeling inside of you, and you're feeling it through your service consciously? If that's the case, that is not a good relaxation for you, because you're codependent on this feel good feeling for yourself to do those things to relax. So it's asking you to dive deeper into that feelings. That is not good for you to have that. So can you separate that? Can you learn to discern that feeling? It's become a codependency for you that you need to let go in order to relax, because it's hindering you to love yourself in a more independent way. So I hope this makes sense to you as well. And this is the last card. It's talking about release. Let me see how it want me to approach this for you. You can let go of situation, peoples, and things that do not serve your greatest good, but you gotta learn to let go. Is not because I don't want to be afraid anymore. I don't want to hate you anymore. Or, oh, I don't need you because I can afford this thing at this moment in time, to let go. Do you see there is a underlying emotions when you're dealing with letting go? Are you actually letting go the situation, people, and things, or are you actually letting go that negative emotion I just kind of mentioned to you? So can you discern the difference when you're doing your letting go? Let's not let go situation, people, and things because you just don't want to engage in that negative feeling. But can you still let go your feeling and see, and if you encounter the situation, people, and things again, you can be more neutral instead of having emotional reaction toward them? So that is a testing for you, okay? If you can just let go of your negative emotion and still encounter them in the future and don't trigger that same negative emotion that you're having. And then Bridget, congratulations, you're actually releasing your negative emotion, but not from the external side of it. Because look, you cannot avoid people, situation, and thing. Doesn't matter where you go. Maybe you just happen a coincidence, or maybe you're destined to meet and be there again. But can you see that how well you're working on your negative emotions, on releasing them, so that way you're not allow your external world to affect you anymore. So, and that is what this last card is trying to tell you. So may you find light from your spiritual guardian in this reading.